Okay, hello again. We'll see how this goes. I'm feeling a little bit amped up right now. Got major Twitter brain. Been on Twitter pretty much all day. And yeah, my energy just feels like way up here, checking Twitter, constantly, that kind of thing. So I put on some wave sounds to help me relax. Hopefully it's nice for you as well to hear that. Um, okay, here, I'll set the timer. Oh, no, 30 minutes. And let's go. So this is part 9. Where am I? Alright, maybe 2/3 of the way. I don't know when I'm gonna finish this. One day. One day we'll finish. I'm enjoying this slow read. Excuse me. So it seems like in this part of the article we're going to be getting into some territory that I'm not super familiar with. LSD, psychedelics. I've never done LSD. I have done shrooms, but a long time ago, over a decade ago. So I wasn't doing it with any of the intention that I'm sure Sasha will be discussing at this point in the article. I was just really doing it for fun with my friends. I had a nice experience, don't get me wrong. I ran around picking fruit, laughing at the sky, that sort of thing, but it was in no way intended to be self-exploration or spiritual in nature. It was in nature, though. It was very, very in nature. I was barefoot in the jungle. It was a good time. So, yeah, just wanted to say that much. I haven't really done psychedelics except for that. And as of now, I don't really have a whole lot of interest. But maybe we'll see what Sasha says. Maybe it'll get me interested. I certainly have many friends who are fans of psychedelics of all sorts. So, okay. Let's go. This is an interesting word. Interesting phrasing. A weird feeling of inevitability that obtains. It's so it's something I never say, and I'm curious if Sasha says that out loud, like in conversation. It's such a sort of depersonalized way of talking about one's feelings. You are not doing it, it just happens. But anyway. What does this mean? I didn't know what I was doing or plan it really, but I certainly acted as if my overriding priority was getting to the bottom of my self-hatred. As in retrospect, his behavior looks like that was his priority, without it having been his intention, maybe. That doesn't seem right, considering what we've read before. He certainly has been on a journey about discovering that stuff intentionally. I don't know. I don't understand that, really. Funny. Shinzen Young was coming up in my Twitter frenzy today. Some people were mentioning him. Okay. So was he talking about the LSD? Taking LSD wasn't intentionally about self-exploration, but it turned out to be. Maybe that's his point. I'm not myself actually familiar with Shinzen Young. But I like this idea a lot. The sense that deep shit is getting worked out. Definitely gives another meaning to the idea of being in deep shit. Like a really nice, positive meaning to it. Oh man, I'm in deep shit. And it's amazing. Follow the shit. Imagine that. If that was your organizing principle. Follow the shit. Get into the shit. I'm just saying shit over and over again. I even tweeted today something about poop. Let that poop go. Oh my gosh. Alright, gotta get up. Gotta get that shit out of my head and keep going. So you know, I don't think I've mentioned it here, but I don't even know if I've made the connection until now. But 3 guys who I really, really respect through all the work of theirs that I have encountered are Visa, Peter Limberg of the Stoa, and Sasha, and all of them are married. I really love that. I really love that. It seems significant that they all are married. But who knows why. It's just nice to know that that these guys are settled into some beautiful relationships. Oh man, live tweet an LSD trip. I cannot imagine that, considering what I said when I turned on the recording about being in Twitter brain and just being on Twitter all day. Oh, I can't imagine that feeling amplified by LSD. I wonder if he was paying attention to his notifications, because that would be really overwhelming for me. I love this perfectly luminescent July evening. The first thing that makes me think of, I think this is the right term, bioluminescence. When in the ocean, when there's this sort of, I think it's like a plankton that sparkles at night when you swish your hand through it. I remember swimming in that in Baja California years and years and years ago. It's pretty freaking magical. It's like you're swimming in among the stars. So this image of a luminescent July evening makes me think of that. Kind of like maybe, the evening full of fireflies. Sparkle, sparkle, there you go. Yeah, I feel you, Sasha. The things we do for attention. And money. Attention and money. There's a whole rabbit hole on those two things that I won't go down. Attention and money. And the idea of fame versus the idea of wealth, and how they often get so intertwined with each other that you need the fame in order to get the wealth, or that you inevitably will become famous through pursuing wealth. But more and more, I don't think that is the case, and more, well, I don't know. My thoughts about fame are ever evolving. But I don't think I want that much of it. Not like I have much anyway. I have 7 subscribers on YouTube right now. I'm so famous. Freaking paparazzi. Get out of my face. Okay. This seems like it would work on LSD for sure. Just close your eyes and block out existence. That'll definitely work. Wow. This is such a different experience from my thing on shrooms. Going to the mall. Going to the Apple store. It's like funny. It's a funny analogy to what my experience on shroom was, because I definitely didn't go to the Apple store, but I did pick fruit. They weren't apples, they were lilikoi, passion fruit. But in a way, I went to the Apple store. But it was free. Just how wonderful that is of an image, of an idea, to have a partner who will accompany you, drive you, let you be while you're feeling silent and distant and sad on LSD. That's really lovely. I like that phrase. Stew in my revulsion. Makes me think of another one. Marinate in my melancholy. I'm coining that if it doesn't already exist. Marinate in melancholy. Wow. This is cool. I love the surf part. Surf instructor. Psychedelic surf instructor. How about that? Or psycho therapeutic surf instructor, or psychodynamic surf instructor. No, what am I thinking? What's the psychotechnology surf instructor? I don't know. One of those. Did you think that the affirmation would make you happy? What an amazing quote from Sasha's wife. I feel like tweeting that later. It's such a great reminder to ask yourself. It's fascinating to me too that what was his name? The guy that Sasha talks about working with. Where is he? Mark. I mean, Mark sounds super cool, and clearly he had a big impact on Sasha. But it's fascinating to hear about his wife now, and it makes me almost think like, who needs Mark, man? Who needs Mark when you've got such an amazing wife? But maybe you know, you can't always be everyone to everybody. So maybe I don't know his wife's name, but maybe he needed Mark to share those ideas with him, not his wife, first and foremost. Who knows? I don't know. But she seems pretty great. That's a very interesting idea. The first thing that popped to mind was, well, what would that look like? A bleeding wound at your center. And then I'm like, oh, well, that's your heart. It's not a wound, but it's definitely bleeding in a way. It's pumping blood constantly from your center. Oh yeah, what was the line before about closing his eyes? Where'd it go? Oh, I closed my eyes and tried to hide from existence, and what did he see? A bleeding wound at his center. That's pretty intense. What a picture. This going on the lawn at the mall. Pretty damn brave of you, Sasha. Very brave. Oh, I know that this goes on, but the way I read this line here, I really liked how I read it initially, which is there was only one way to stop fighting it. And that way is, do you want to? Do you want to stop fighting it? That's the way. I mean, I guess that is kind of what the answer was, right? All you need to do is accept it. You have to want to stop fighting it. Howling hole. Damn. That gives me a very, very vivid kind of, like if there's a storm outside and a window gets blown open and it's just like howling and the wind is shrieking. I'm sure I can't think of any specific scene from a movie, but I'm sure I've seen many a movie scene where that image is front and center. I had one of these recently. I have to remember that he's talking about being on LSD, so I really can't comprehend what this would be like or what it would feel like or look like, let alone for him as he's going through it. Oh. What? The LSD just stopped? Okay, I'm only here, but I'm very curious uh, to know if there was a difference between this next phase of the being on LSD, where it seemed to have stopped, and then once it did finally end, like the next day. Because that would be freaking crazy and amazing and incredible if that experience I just described sort of, I don't know, took him to a place where the effects of LSD were no longer, how should I say, like, he started out in a place where the LSD made him experience a trip, but then he got to a place where he was already like at that level, so the LSD didn't even, reveal anything to him or something like that. Um, right? Like some people just have such an incredible amount of waking energy all the time that like coffee is completely unnecessary, that kind of thing. Hmm. This also is sort of what's happening to me day by day as I read A Process Model by Eugene Genlin. It's almost like the book itself and the process of reading it and the way I'm reading it is giving me this same experience of showing me that there are no real borders between me and the cosmic becoming. I mean, in the book, the word cosmic, I'm pretty sure, has never showed up so far. But, I mean, that's what a process model means. It's about rebuilding a philosophical, conceptual foundation of reality, which is not starting with, as we normally think of everything being separate, everything being individual and different from each other, right? Like individual units and individual objects, which then connect somehow, right? We have rocks and trees and individual people and cells and atoms. Like rather than that, which is our normal way of thinking about how reality is structured, Eugene Genlin is rebuilding a conceptual model of reality where we start with everything is in process. Everything is not divided up into individual pieces. We start with everything being connected, and from there, as necessary, we divide, and we divide with our analytical capacities. But just because we can divide doesn't mean that things are divided. But yeah, so reading that book is giving me this, or giving me an experience and shifting things for me in a way that feels very much like what Sasha's describing here. And yeah, it does feel easier and more normal to see things this way than not. Just another part of the mall. I don't even know what this word means, to be honest. I'm gonna. Should I look it up? Nah, I'm not gonna look it up. I just like the sound of it. Paradisiacal. paradisiac, paradisiacal. I don't know, but it's a fun word. Paradise. Paradise. An eternity of paradise. That's pretty nice. I've been feeling like this too. I recorded really, an article where I just like endlessly professed love for everybody. After my run-in with death the other week. Because after I had that experience, I have been feeling very much like a child. Facing a whatever, an eternity of paradise. That's definitely how it's been feeling. So, okay, my timer just went off. I'm going to read two more sentences, and then I'll stop. I sampled some perfume. Nice. That's really nice. And the last thing I'll say is this perfume idea, like more and more lately, I've just been stopping to smell the roses, literally. We have a beautiful garden with a lot of roses in it. And there are a lot of roses just in the neighborhood where I live. And every time I can, which is every day, multiple times a day, I just like to go and stick my nose in a rose. Stick my nose in a rose and just breathe it in. One, symbolically, to remind myself that, I do have the time to stop and smell the roses, but also because it genuinely is a beautiful, beautiful experience. And they smell so good. They smell amazing. But as I've been doing that more and more and more lately, it made me think, I wonder what, on a chemical level, what this is doing, Undoubtedly, the perfume of these flowers is, it's going into my system. It's having some effect on me. And it made me appreciate the idea of perfume more. Because I've never really been interested in perfume. I mean, I think as a guy, that's generally less of an interesting thing to begin with. But just thinking about how smells and aromas can shift how you feel, like if you take a bath with some essential oils, it can make you feel so many different ways because there are so many different scents that you can use. I've always wanted to just smell like flowers. Whenever I discover a new flower that I really like, I just sort of wish that I could bottle it and have it as my perfume. But I don't know how to do that, so I just smell them as much as I can. So anyway, that is part 9. Next time we move on to step 4. All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.